we'll start with you, Amy. So can you please explain why the county did not win the bid for the Rosalee property for park? And kind of explain who was responsible in all of that bidding process.
Okay, I'm happy to talk about that. When the school board put that property at Rosalee on the market, they put it up as a closed bid process. So the school board put out a request for proposal, I call it a request for bid. Every entity who bidded submitted a bid under seal, so nobody knew what anyone else bid on. And I cannot talk about specifically what was said in our executive session when we discussed the property, because we are held to confidentiality in those meetings. But I can say what is public knowledge. That property had a deed restriction. It had a cloud on the title that required that land only be used for single-family residential. It was not allowed to be used as a park. It had that deed restriction on it. And that deed restriction was put in 1969. And that was when it was sold to another entity, and then after that, the school board bought it. So the property had been being used incorrectly. It was being used contrary to a deed restriction. The county, we can't buy property that's got a deed restriction and use it for something that is not allowed according to that deed. And it's unknown how hard it would be to find a family member who lived here in 1969 that would be able to clear that deed. And so that was a big unknown. And I also believe that the county cannot spend over market value on property, because I believe that's a bad use of taxpayer dollars, because tax dollars are all of your hard-earned money. And so the bid was put in at the number that it was put in, knowing that there would, if it was won, there would be additional monies that would have to be spent to be able to clean that title. And I thought that was the right thing to do. And the market worked. Somebody else put in a higher bid. The school got a really good value, I believe over market value for that piece of property. So they've got that money to put towards their school project. And it worked out the way I believe it was supposed to. So thank you.
You know, I'm not involved or know much of the information behind it other than it was sold from the school board and who purchased it. I am of the opinion that land purchased by Park County, in my opinion, financially responsibly needs to be design planned and ideaed out what it's going to be used for 100%. And if it doesn't match that criteria because of deed restrictions, which I just learned about, I did not know that, or any other issue, then that is money not well spent from Park County. Anytime if it doesn't have a plan and an idea of exactly how it should be developed and what's going on moving forward, it's just not a good idea to spend money on, in my opinion. That's my 2 cents on it.
May I just add one more thing?
Sure.
When this idea came up, and it was probably 6 months before the school put out for bid, people came to us saying they really liked that property for a park. And the discussion was, you know, who's going to take care of it? And they go, well, we want you to buy it and we want you to run it. And I believe that if a community wants a park, they should come up with a plan and come up with a board to run it. Kind of like a model in Lake George. Years, probably in the early 70s, Lake George received a parcel of land, and they have a board that has run that park ever since. They do get GOCO grants and do what they need to do to run that park. They run Gymkhana there, they have tractor pull there in the summer, and they take responsibility and ownership of the maintenance of the park. And when that was brought up, it said, bring your ideas and form an entity and we can have further conversations. Well, no one ever came back to us. And that's not why the bid went, but you know, I believe if people want ownership of something, it needs to be you know, a team sport, the county, we don't have a parks department, we don't have the overhead, the monies and funding to be able to take on the maintenance of something new when we are working hard to take care of the essential services that we do in the county. So,
Score,
thanks.
we're at 6 minutes on it. So
Wow.
you have time.